to
If you
give
weigh
us.
over $1,000, you get this on 10%.
I do need to monitor it though, so.
Makes
I
more
am
sense.
entering
Okay.
contact with Mexican Paradise.
Well, somebody else signed up for rice,
Yeah.
and like, honestly, like beans, but like I would, I don't mind making meat if we don't want to make it.
All right, should we
Yeah,
get started?
Go ahead.
I have one mini crock pot.
I have one.
I've
Sorry.
got 2 big ones.
All right, well, we'll go ahead and get started, and hopefully we'll have some people join us as we move on here, but if you haven't, please sign in, and we'll go ahead and get started. So thanks for joining us here and on Facebook Live, and we'll skip through the purpose here if anyone doesn't know the purpose here. You know, we got it. All right, so today's meeting, we're going to look at call to order. We'll do the approval of the minutes from April 3rd, and then we've got our 1-minute updates, and then we'll have our deep dive topics for tonight. So with that being said, our minutes from April 3rd were posted on Facebook. I hope everyone's had a chance to take a look at them. If not, we'll kind of scroll through them here real quick. Again, like I said, we're going to go through it real quick and not put too much time into this one. Those were our minutes there. Does anyone want to make a vote to approve?
Yes.
All right, anyone want to second that vote?
Yep.
All right, all in favor?
Yep.
Anyone opposed? All right, seeing no one opposed, minutes have been approved. All right, 1-minute updates. Couple things, we'll start with the treasurer report.
All right, income for the month was $30,376.15. Our expenses were $2,009.14. You can see our beginning and ending balance. Some numbers for our Totally Awesome Family Date Night. You can see the income and expenses, which gave us a total surplus of $1,777.06.
Yay.
So really exciting.
Yeah. Keep going.
Yeah, and these are just some year-to-date expenses. This is outstanding 5th grade picnic and staff appreciation, but year-to-date teacher grants have been $2,380. We had kind of budgeted $2,500 for that, so that's where we're kind of staying with that. School spirit and assembly, we're at $1,492, and that's about 137 under what our budget was. Events, our only event this year so far has been Pastry with Parents, and that actually brought in 158. We did have a $500 budget, but we didn't touch it. We actually brought in a little money from that. And our operating costs so far this year, including insurance, supplies, all those types of things, are at $579, which is about $420 under our budget. So, and then you can see our total for fundraising this year comes in at $3,616. And again, that's outstanding with the Appreciation Week, which has a $1,000 budget, and 5th grade picnic, which is also a $1,000 budget. So. And a pretty graph about where our fundraising has come from. So the biggest section obviously was the dance, and you can kind of see spirit wear, bowling, and Scoopy Night were our big bring-ins. So.
Well, 50-50 was big there too.
50-50, yes, 50-50 brought in a good chunk of change. That was just from one event. So we'll see how things break down.
Dances might have to be an annual thing for us,
Well,
I think.
I think there'll be more next year.
Well, we'll have to see how
I
that
saw you
goes.
out there trying not to disco.
We have a section to talk about that. So thanks, Melissa. That's great information. I think this will come in handy as we look, start planning for next year and what's working and what's not, what could be better, what can be improved. All right, so an update, we have received our sales tax exemption. It took quite a few rounds of working with Parent Booster USA to try to get them to supply the right information to the state's attorney. But after about 3 tries, they got it right, and we've got it, and we have sales tax exemption through 2024.
I tried to use it, and Walmart thought it was crazy. They're like, "Why are you coming up here from Florida to buy things in Illinois?" And they ran the numbers and it didn't work, so I just paid $1.90
Okay.
at that point.
Yeah, obviously, if you can,
Okay.
great. I mean, I think for the bigger things,
Yes.
it'll come in handy, like our, like the 5th grade T-shirts that we're ordering.
Yep.
That's going to be a bigger one, that we can use for. But for smaller things, it might not work. They also did say, like when we did that one, that we had to pay with a check from the boosters in order to get the exemption. So that might be something that we need to consider as we move on there. But
Well,
it is
and
something.
also too, sorry to interrupt, but, when you, that number, actual number is actual parent booster number. It's not technically the petty Bobcat booster, that's why you ran into the problem. Because if you look up the number, like through IRS or whatever it is, it will come up as Parent Booster USA, not as petty
Yeah,
Bobcat booster.
but that's what they put it on here.
Yeah,
Okay, so.
yeah, see, that's
okay.
from Walmart, you gotta get the Walmart card, yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of where we gotta figure out, like,
Got it.
you know, with all the schools, cause all the schools are having the same problem.
Well, is that the
Why?
exemption number you're using, or are you using the
We had
EIN
the
number?
old one.
3, 2, I don't know.
This one just came through last week, so,
Okay.
so I don't know. But, there are two different EIN numbers. There's the one for Parent Booster USA, and then there's ours, so you wanna make sure you're using ours. It took us a while that we couldn't, if people looked up ours, they wouldn't see it. But I worked with them, we finally got listed
Okay.
on the IRS site, so we should,
Really
people be
real.
able to find us now. So, yeah, we are real.
We didn't just.
But
come from
technically,
Florida to play.
we don't have our own 501c3 certificate. It is under what you said, Parent Booster USA. But now, since we're an affiliate of them, we have our own listing. And it took the IRS a while to acknowledge that.
Okay.
So,
Good
but
to know.
we'll see. So anyways, it's there, good through 2024, so we don't have to do anything for a while, so. And, that's through Illinois, so. Antioch Pizza fundraiser, so we had our event on Monday. 15% of each order went back to us. We raised $125. So it was a bit short of what we did in February. And they've already said, hey, you know, this is great. Are you ready to book again for next year? So that's something we need to consider. Do we want to do it again next year? If we do, when do we want to do it? You know, kind of go from there. So that's something to consider as we look at for next year. You know, I was a little disappointed in these numbers, especially being that we were a little less than last time. But at the same time, there's been like 5 of these
I
this
feel like
week.
it's like people are kind of Antioch
It's
pizza
crazy,
out.
and that's why I'm like,
honestly, like I got
maybe do
told
we
that,
wanna
like,
do it if everybody else and their
Jeez,
mother's
you
doing
know,
it?
Okay,
do
Mr.
stuff.
G's
I
would-
talked to the owner of it.
Yeah, they are really cool and they would probably do something like
Yeah.
that too.
So maybe it's time to find a different one that everybody else isn't doing.
Switch it up, yeah.
Yeah.
Switch it
Change it
up,
up.
but at the same time, you gotta keep the fact that you made $125 for doing nothing.
That's a
Right.
great point that
Yeah.
Melissa
I
made
made
earlier in the
dinner
day too.
Out of the
and I
door.
made $125 we didn't have, on site.
I think it would be easier if we had an idea that there wasn't gonna be so many at the exact same time.
I was gonna say that, maybe talk to them and say, hey, what other Antioch schools, what's their
Or other
timeframes?
events.
I know I've tried to
Like
work with the other
band.
booster clubs to try to say, hey, can we
But Antioch
coordinate this
Pizza
so
will
we're
have
not
their own
doing it
calendar.
at the same times, but I haven't gotten a response from them to commit
They
to
have a
doing
lot,
that.
and they do a lot, not even for the schools.
Yes.
We had a put in her soccer one last night.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Like,
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Or so much pizza,
Mhm.
so we're just gonna do this.
So, but anyways, it's something to consider. I agree on all the points and we just have to weigh out what it is. I mean, it is a relatively low, you know, it doesn't take a lot of effort to do this, so, but that's the Antioch Pizza fundraiser. Spirit Store, so we ran that for about 3 weeks. It closed on May 1st. I had it extended a little bit just to get some last minute orders. We had 41 orders. We generated $321.79 in profit. And the item should be distributed around May 15th. So they're cutting us a check. We should probably get that, I'm guessing, maybe next week. And then they're gonna print up the orders. We'll have them, and then we'll have to line them up and then distribute them to the classrooms that are going there. So I know there were a few little hiccups in their online order system where they closed the store early on accident a couple times. There's a couple programming accidents there, but I think we were able to catch them relatively quickly. And we extended it just a little bit there, so that's going there. I think next year we'll see a big increase. You know, we kind of ran this at the end of the year, and there's going to be students that aren't going to be here next year, and we still generated a really nice profit on this. Plus, people are getting nice spiritware, so.
And we can even think about running it twice next year, like once in the beginning and once towards the middle.
My thought was 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do a fall one, back to school, do one right before Christmas or thereabouts, and then do another one probably springtime.
Yeah.
Again.
Can I make a suggestion, and thought of doing it at back to school, I call it back to school night still, but at back to school night, because the parents are already walking through.
It's all online, so the
Yeah.
idea would be just to
Oh,
start it
I
off
see. That's
ahead of
right,
time
that's right.
and do it in the fall, back to school time,
Yeah.
and
Got it,
then,
okay,
yeah.
yeah, I forgot, sorry.
I think
it's
we should
online.
think about having some purchased to sell that night.
Take and go.
Mhm.
No, that's
We
a
could
good
do that.
idea.
That's-
They're
yeah,
gonna go,
that's
I mean,
good words.
some of my school does
Yeah.
it, and they're flying out of people's hands.
Mhm.
And they sell out whatever they bring that night.
Yeah.
And it's a short size range that we would.
Sure. That's a good idea. So, we can look at that for next year. But, definitely a success, and I think it's only the beginning, so it should be, pretty good. Oh, and we can change up the designs and things like that by the time of the year and offer up different things.
Oh, really?
So we talked last time about having an ice cream social night. I talked with somebody at Dairy Queen before the last meeting, was waiting to kind of hear back, heard nothing.
I'll get
So-
on them.
So the other idea is, do we wanna try something at another place? Do we wanna try for that? Do we wanna try for the summer? I know that there's, if we wanted to try at another place, we could try Hanson's, it's a little
And
further
that's
away.
indoors too, so.
Huh? That one's indoors too,
Right.
exactly.
Dairy Queen's hard, 'cause you have to be
So,
outside.
I'm thinking that they might be very open to that, being that I know that they will go and cater out to places and things like that now too, so, it's worth looking into, so. But, that's something we can look at, and whether we wanna try to do that still before the end of the year, or if we wanna try to do something like that over the summer. Those are things that we can look at, but, obviously Dairy Queen would have been great because it's so close, it's local,
Right,
and everything
supporting
else.
local.
Exactly, and that's kinda what I said too, but I know when I talked to him, he talked about, staffing was tough until the summer, and people are out and whatnot, but, so, I don't know. So, but is that something that people think we should look at another place and try to get this in May,
check out
before the end of the school year?
Yeah.
Do one more? Alright, I will reach out to Hanson's and we'll see. Car static stickers, so we've got these, we did not do these through the Spirit Store because they were kind of crazy expensive and kind of crazy ugly. They couldn't do them all nice and die cut, they had to be like a perfect square and whatever. We did a vote on our Facebook page whether we wanted magnets or static stickers. They couldn't actually do the static stickers in-house. We'd have to pay for them all online and whatever and do them that way, and I figured this way, if we just ordered them up ourselves, we could control our profits a little bit better and eliminate some of the middleman costs. So we went and ordered a bunch of these. We went and gave one to every staff member as a bonus here, but we also have them here for online purchase. There's an online form, a Google form, that people can sign up for one and then print out the thing, send in the money, and then we'll send the sticker back. So we just got the first one that actually sent the money back. So I've got a few other requests of people that have said, I want one, but they haven't sent me the money yet. So we're going from there. If anybody wants one, I have them here, and you're welcome to take one home today. So those are going there, and we've got them for this year and the future going on from there. If we need more, it was a very low cost item, and we can generate some nice profit through it. So, all right, totally awesome family date night. So we've got a few slides here on this one. It was held this last Saturday. We had approximately 100 people attended. Maybe one or two short of that magic $100 or 100 number that I was hoping for. I think we were at 98, 99, but I just did a quick count, so it's possible I could have counted wrong. Some of those stubs kind of stuck together. Yeah. We had about 20 people that were no-shows at the door, and those were people that said, hey, I want to have tickets and I'll come and pay for them at the door, and they just didn't come out. It could be part of the weather, could be part of it, who knows. So we had the promotion that was ongoing to the very end. We were trying our hardest to get as many people in there as we could. I know we were kind of sweating it out a little bit. We had budgeted $2,000 for it. We definitely made that back and didn't use all of that as well. So our costs obviously were, we had listed here $887 for the food, drinks, DJ, photo booth, and decorations. There are food and drinks left over, and we'll be using those for some of the year-end activities. We've got a bunch of like chips and candy and water and pop that we'll use for maybe the 5th grade field trip or 5th grade picnic and or maybe field day if we need it. That's there. Ticket sales, just kind of give people a breakdown of, you know, where this went from. Ticket sales accounted for $734 of our revenue. The auction sales obviously were big, and we had a lot of great items out there. My biggest concern as we were doing is we had enough people to, you know, actually bid on stuff, but we did, and it was fantastic. Raffle sales, that was a big one. We got about $300 on that one, and that worked out well. For concessions and the DJ requests and what we did, if you weren't there, we had a thing, if you wanted to request a song, it was $1 to request a song on the playlist, and so that accounted for almost $200. The flower sales really, you know, didn't do too much at all. I think $2 out of that $3 profit that we got from that was my family, which we even forgot our flowers in the refrigerator. So I made them, my daughter and my wife wear them on Sunday. But it was a nice thing. It just didn't go anywhere on that one. So I know that the woman at Antioch Flower Shop, you know, she was super excited about it and everything else. It didn't really kind of pan out, but she's still willing to work with us on other things, maybe. And one of the things that was discussed is maybe in the future, it was too late this year to do it, but maybe do something where we have some kind of a special thing where kids can order flowers for their moms.
Yeah.
You know,
Just think how much your auction sales can, even if your people count was double, I mean, your auction sales could be holy Toledo.
Yeah. So the event
You know?
totally has, and not to reuse the totally, but could be much, much more. But going into it, we've got a few things to look at here from it. Big thanks to so many people and so many people in this room, so many businesses, the classroom support by pulling together the baskets, just amazing. I mean, just so much support. It was fantastic. So thank you to everyone that's on this list, and hopefully I didn't miss anyone on this list, but there's a chance maybe I did because there were so many people to thank on this. So we couldn't have done it without so many of the people that I'm seeing here in this room, which was fantastic. So thank you to everyone for that. But as with every event, we go back and we say, hey, what could we do better? What did we do good? What were things like that? So we've had maybe about almost a dozen people come back to us and give us some feedback on this. Overwhelmingly, it's positive. There's not a lot of negatives. You know, people love the photo booth. The auction was a big hit, obviously, as we saw there. We saw people standing out there talking to their spouses like, okay, this one's here, what should I put on the bid for this one, and whatever. So there were some great strategies there. People loved that it was family friendly, and the atmosphere of it all, they loved it. People loved the dancing. You know, we had a few complaints about the DJ, but that's okay. There's something, you know, you're not gonna please everybody. So that was great. One person said everything was beyond my expectations, which was great to hear that. But that was just kind of one example. The biggest takeaway from it, even the people that didn't come said they would come again. 100% of the people said they would totally come again. So that's great information on there. What can we do to improve for the auction? Someone had suggested smaller or cheaper, more kid-friendly baskets. So maybe instead of having some of these grandiose giant baskets, maybe we pare some of them down. Because there were kids that were out there placing bids on their own things with their own money even.
Yeah, we had a kid bidding $181 on a pool pass. I didn't know what he was doing.
I'm begging you. He had to go be my bidder.
Yeah.
He went up $1. People go up like big chunks, like you don't understand the process.
That's funny at the end because he wanted to bid like 201 to
Nope.
beat the other lady. I said
No.
no. I took the shakes off.
Okay, we're line at 200.
Another idea on the raffle thing too, at my son's preschool, they used to do where you buy the raffle tickets. They would have like baskets, they had like buckets, and you could put your ticket in the buckets and stuff like that. So that could be something that's, you know, it could be smaller,
Could
whatever.
do that again
You
so
buy
that
some
people
for your-
could choose what
buy
they
some
were
for your
going
kids,
into.
let your kids
You don't have to draw a ticket,
Yeah.
they can choose, yeah.
And that's where the kids can put their allowance money,
Yep.
it's
Yeah.
easier for them to
We've done
spend.
that before.
We kind of did that with the raffle
Yeah.
stuff. We tried to make that more the kids stuff. You know, like so that's why we had like the grand prize kind of being the PlayStation Classic, and and some different things like that. Now there were some things that just didn't fit in some of the other baskets, so we put it in there. Like there was, like my son walked away with a nice set of Ulta candle holders.
We got
He was
candles.
really excited about that, but you know, it was one of those things that he ended up with. So, but
I was gonna say, I was talking with one of the moms, and she was saying about the auction baskets. Although the teachers did a great job putting them together and stuff, she's like, I'm not gonna bid on a lot of these because they're just things like, you know, it's like a whole ton of candy in it, and you know, like, she's like, it should be more stuff that people really want. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that because they were all beautiful and gorgeous, but we had a whole conversation, and she goes, yeah, I'm not really bidding on anything. She goes, things like the golf outing, she goes, I don't play golf, but that would be something worth, you know, bidding on. She goes, well, I'm gonna bid $25 on a basket of candy, you know, she's like, I know it's a
Somebody did, though.
fundraiser.
Yeah.
No, I know, but.
you know what happens with us in the past? My kids would be like, dude, this is awesome. I want this. So then it's like, okay, well, I gotta try to throw in a bid, you know, for my kids. So I guess there's a little bit of back and forth, and we can look at that as we move forward. But these are all great ideas. I had thought about doing the little thing for it, but honestly, I just didn't have time to come up with the different slots for each one. And we were kind of doing it down to the wire, so we can go from there. I know one of the things that people asked about was front row at music events. We made that request to the school. But because of the change next year, they weren't sure how that was gonna work out. Is it gonna be grade level? Is it gonna be, are they gonna do kind of like Hillcrest where they have like a village type thing? And we just said, you know what, let's not do it here. But they were very willing to do it in the future, you know, and they wanted to do it. They were just hesitant because they didn't know how it was gonna work out. So I think that's something we'll have out there, and I think that's gonna be a huge one.
Like the principal for a
I was just gonna say
day.
principal for a day or lunch with your favorite teacher, like, you know what I mean, like.
The problem with
stuff
that
like
is
STEM night.
PBIS does a lot of that stuff. And so there were a few of those that I couldn't see us making an auction item when their kids are using Bobcat bucks to do that.
Yeah, they buy them.
So there were a few things like that, and we can get creative with that a little bit more. The school was more than happy to say, well, I don't think we should do this, but what else do you have? And at that point, I'm just like, we got enough stuff here, let's just go with it, see where it goes, but those are always things we can look at as well.
A steak lunch with the teacher.
What's that?
Steak
Lunch?
lunch.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll bid on that.
Yeah.
I wanna win that.
Wait, for the kid or for the parent?
Yeah, for the teachers, yeah. Overall, there were some comments about the DJ, and I think some of that might fall back on a little bit of miscommunication, giving them a little bit more direction on the playlist going there. But part of it was, I know that some people were like, oh, what song is this? But they were also trying to honor the request that people were paying for at the same time too. So there was a little bit of balance stuff there. We'll work on that. People asked about having ice cream at the event, and that's something we can consider for concessions maybe next time instead. Somebody said less Facebook posts because it was blowing up their Facebook post, but then in the same breath somebody said more advertising. Get it out there because I didn't know about it. So it's a fine balance out there and seeing where it was. We laid on it a little heavy because we were sweating how many people were going to come to the event, you know. So we'll see how that goes in the
Well,
future.
if it's something we plan on doing every year, you can always just get yard signs made up and put them at the intersections.
Good.
Buy a yard sign.
Yeah. And then the other one was more opportunities for volunteers to enjoy the event, which would be fantastic if we had more volunteers.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the hard part. So we tried to make it so that if you volunteered, you could go and enjoy part of the event. We did the best we could with that. But, you know, hopefully in the future we can get some more people to do it. And maybe we can leverage AUGS and high school kids a little bit more to try to get them to help
Great
staff some of
asset.
those things
Great.
and do that. So, but for our first event, I think it was pretty successful. I mean, we made money, we didn't lose money on it, you know?
No school here yet that were there, so.
Yes, no.
Yeah. And we did have, we invited staff to come free of charge. And we had staff that are coming here next year, that aren't here currently, and that was good because, I know some of them had said, you know, I was a little hesitant to come and whatever, but they got to see some familiar faces and it kind of opened things up a little bit. So there were some really nice things, with that as well. Some more feedback here, reasons people didn't come. We had a couple people say, scheduling conflict. A couple people said price. So I don't know about that one, but that was something that was dawning or running through our heads. Maybe we priced it a little too high. And then I've heard this from one person, no interest from their kids. So maybe the kids don't think it's that cool.
Well, maybe
Well, they didn't know.
But now that they've had one, they've been to one.
Well,
They
like
didn't know
my
what to expect.
students said, my mom's making me come.
Mhm.
And then I asked him on Monday, how did you like it? It was so cool.
Yeah.
And that was,
yeah.
one of Wyatt's friends from school said, no, you know, he's like, I'd rather stay home and play Fortnite. And then Wyatt's like, you're so lame, blah, blah, blah. But then we brought my next door neighbor who goes to upper grade, and she made one of her friends go. And he was the cool kid on the bleachers the whole night. But then by the time the night was over, he's like, thanks for making me come. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
so,
what that boy was.
Yeah.
Or you could incorporate an activity that would draw the kids,
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
something.
We were thinking like a scavenger hunt or some sort of interactive, but we were on crunch time.
Yeah, with the limited number of volunteers we had and everything else, and
Yeah.
stuff that we had ideas for and we just scrapped. The attendance, 66% of people, you know, that came to the event, people that did the survey. For the raffle, 60% of the people that responded did the raffle. If you look at like raffle, auction, concessions, photo booth, and ticket coupon, those, I mean, add 30% to that because, you know, 30% of those people didn't come. But so most people did the raffle, auction, and concessions. Almost everybody that came went to the photo booth, so I think that was a huge success. And speaking of which, if you haven't checked Facebook tonight, I got the gallery of all the pictures and we posted it on Facebook, so you can go ahead and download the pictures and enjoy them if you want, including the strip. It gives you even a little strip, so if like something happened to your strip, you can reprint it out, or you can order one from her if you want, or just download it and print it yourself. But the ticket coupon, you know, I don't know how many people went. It says 30% of people did. I know I went. It was actually kind of cool. Anastasia's was playing 80s music when I was there, so that was kind of neat.
Anastasia, yeah.
We went afterward.
It took me way too long to do my hair.
There you go.
Oh, that's
And
a
they
good
give
idea.
you the
Yeah, we
50% for
went for
takeout
dessert,
too?
yeah.
Fantastic. So that's great. I mean, you know, it wasn't the greatest deal we ever had, but
One comment from Anastasia's though, while I was waiting for my food, the hostesses there, they were giggling, they said, quite a few people actually went to Anastasia's thinking that's where the dance
The
was.
event.
Yeah, I heard a lot of
Really?
comments
Yeah,
about
I had
that.
someone
Someone
tell me
on the
that.
back or what.
Well, they had a sign up in the restaurant.
yeah, in the door. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, they told me to put one on the door and one in the girls' bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I saw that one.
in the bathroom and
I saw that
one on
one.
the door.
I saw the one on the front door. They had
Oh,
asked,
no, I-
they had volunteered
I
to
am, but the
put
women
our
are the
thing
ones who are
up
gonna
like
make them go.
on their
Right.
TVs and outside on the thing, but we didn't have, at that point, we didn't have online ordering.
Yeah.
So I thought that would be super confusing to do that, so I kind of was like, if we get online ordering going, we'll do it. And we had talked about doing it, but it was really crazy, trying to get it set up. Like the system that we picked to do this, which is made for PTOs and nonprofits, it really just didn't collect the information we needed and everything else, and it was very cookie cutter, and it's more like, oh, hey, we're gonna do a pool at school to like collect for somebody's retirement gift. That's really what it was more for than anything else. The good news is though, they've said that they're making changes. They took all my feedback and they said, oh yeah, we'll there. So, okay, that's the dance. Anybody else have any questions, comments on that one before we move on? All right. Other ways that we can fundraise, since we were just talking about different fundraisers, we still have Amazon Smile out there. We've got the Script gift card order, which could obviously use some help if you looked at that little pie chart where it was like 1 or 2%. You know, we don't pay anything for that, but there's nobody really using that.
Ongoing?
So
Yeah, it's all.
it's perpetually going until we say we don't want to do it anymore because it's too much trouble than it's worth. Maybe we let it go through the holidays, see what happens, and then make a decision based off of that. You know, if it doesn't get used by next Christmas, maybe we just stop doing it because.
Well, you could do like maybe a monthly post, just kind of as a reminder
Mhm.
to people.
I know I include it in the newsletter every month and things like that, but.
The day of.
Maybe you can post now, cause people are starting to think about teacher gifts. Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely something we can look at, and we can try to push it out there through the end of the year and see what happens, but those are out there. All right, we've got, so moving on to like the spirit stuff, we've got, we had the request for the guest speaker. We've got an assembly set up with Game Show Gurus. That's going to be on May 7th, so that's coming up quick. That was included in the cost that Melissa had. We've got our check here that we can give to Joanna to pay for the remainder of it. On the day of, we've already done the deposit, so everything should be set up and ready to go there, and hopefully this will be a fun assembly for the kids. It's really interactive, so pretty much almost anybody that wants to do something with it can. If you don't want to, you can sit out, obviously, because there's probably going to be a few kids that'll do that, but they work in teams, and it's kind of like a game show thing, so fun little activity there. All right, Spirit of the Bobcat Award. And I've got to go into Mrs. Hope's office and get that, I forgot. But for teachers and staff, only for anyone that doesn't know, you earn points monthly for volunteering, attending meetings, different memberships to our different groups that get information, sharing, doing things, newsletters, emails, seesaw, all kinds of different things, class participation. I've got a whole spreadsheet that I use every month to tally everybody's activity that I see. We also have our I Spy form where people can go and help and report and say, hey, I saw them do this, or I saw this newsletter, and they can let us know for a teacher and a staff member. We had some people report out there this month as well, so we'll go ahead and go through this month's award. So every month we do kind of the top 5, and so number 5 in 5th place was Lisa Fisher with 75 points, so she did a lot of help with the totally awesome date night, especially getting us prizes and whatnot, and a lot of the other activities as well. 4th place, Natalie Earl. So, you know, there's a little bit of a spread there, but there was a lot of work and effort done there as well. 3rd place, Mrs. Hope, who was our 1st place winner last month, came in at 100 points and had a ton there. You'll see the point totals if you looked at it between this month and last month is huge. 2nd place, Mrs. Murray had 102 points, so that was a close race between 2nd and 3rd place. And then our 1st place was kind of a walk away. It's kind of like that guy on Jeopardy right now. Mrs. Peel with 174 points. So, you know, when I said there was a lot of effort by people in this room, Mrs. Peel was one that really made the totally awesome family date night happen, amongst other things as well. And different things, you know, Sarah thing, pizza night, and a lot of different things like that. So Mrs. Peel, we'll get that trophy out of Mrs. Hope's room and go from there. Yeah.
Well, I delivered it to her last
Yeah.
time.
So. Yeah. No, I told her I was going to take if I just took it out of her room. We've got some honorable mentions as well because the point totals were up high. I just wanted to go ahead and mention a few other people here. Amber Scher was also very highly, had a lot of students that participated in the different things, and with all her efforts as well. Valerie Rivera as well. Andrea Halterman, and Melissa Orozco. So it's nice to see some new names up there and everything else, and they were definitely in the running for this as well, but we went from that. What happens when you win? You get some entries into a drawing that we're going to have at the end of this month. Like we said we would do it at the end of the year for a gift card from the boosters, and Mrs. Garrettson also put out a she's going to match the gift card. So we'll have two drawings there. People that that went through it, obviously we'll give people that also made 2nd, 3rd, 4th places, you know, we'll give them entries as well. We'll just kind of weight the entries as we go on there. And this is not just from this month, it's from the previous months as well. But we have one more, we still have time before that. We'll do the drawing on May 24th. So we'll have time to do one more tally before then, and I'll do a all-up tally where we say everybody that during that period of time that hit a certain threshold will also get a drawing into it. So there's plenty of opportunities for people to be entered into this drawing and get their name in it. And we'll Facebook Live the drawing itself so that people can say, hey, this wasn't just, you know, rigged or whatever. So we'll do that as well on April 24th. So so look for that as we go out there, but that's something that we're excited about, and congratulations
Thank you.
for your hard work, and thank you for your hard work. All right, field day. That's coming up on May 28th. I've been working with Mrs. Newman and Mr. Amster to help organize volunteers and some things. I just created a sign up today for this, so we'll be posting this out there. Something we're doing to try to make things a little bit easier is I'm trying to make customized URLs for things so that people can find them easier instead of going to some random Google form URL and whatever. So this one will be bit.ly/pettyfieldday 2019 and go out there. So we'll be pushing that out there, and then staff can include it in their newsletters to get people to sign up for it as well. So while we're working for volunteers, we're also they're asking for donations of using pop-up tents to provide shade and water donations. So we'll have that out there as well. So that's coming out there. If you're interested in helping with field day, keep an eye out for that. Box tops. Jean Carley had contacted me last week in the midst of all the dance stuff, and I said I would bring it up at this next meeting. She's looking for someone to take over the box tops program because she no longer will have a student here, and so she's hoping to pass that on. She's happy to show someone the ropes and get us through the end of this year and into next year and kind of show someone. But if anybody's interested in helping with the box tops program in a coordinator role, that would be great. I think it's really kind of, for the most part, taking different activities. If you want to plan different drives or competitions for it, to go out there, or just kind of taking them, matching them up, and then submitting them to wherever they need to go. I don't know a ton about it, but I'm thinking this is something that can, most of the work can be done outside of the school in your own time. So that's something that we'll have out there, and I'll be posting that through our groups as well, looking for someone who's willing to do that. Just like we had somebody step up that's volunteering for the book fair stuff for next year. So
Where do the box tops funds go?
right now, I think they go currently to the school general fund. I'm not sure how they're used. I'm assuming that would not change, but I don't know that. That's something we can talk to Ms. Garrison about and see what's going on with that. So yeah. Book fairs, I just mentioned this. Melissa Stager and Nancy Bernard and I have been trading some emails. We've booked one book fair for next year that will be during teacher conferences in the fall. We're actually looking at having one book fair being Scholastic and one Follett next year. The people have been pressing us like, book now, book now, book now. And so we decided to do that one. Mrs. Bernard had been working with somebody at the district who did a Follett one and was very happy with that. We also found out that this is the last year that Scholastic dollars can be used for like the weekly reader things. So that might help to transition this from Scholastic to Follett, but we're gonna do one of each and see which one they like better, and then they can make a decision off of that from there. But there'll be more information on that as time goes on, but those are in the works for next year. We're starting to see kind of stuff crop up for next year. We've got some stuff that we're doing year-end, kind of like Melissa did with the treasurer report that we'll be covering here, but there's a little bit of both going on at the same time. Speaking of year-end, we're looking to do a year-end survey, just kind of like how we do after each event. What did you like? What didn't you like? Do you have recommendations, suggestions, things like that? We constantly are trying to find that information out. I thought about kind of putting together a year-end survey that was all up to talk about communications, events, fundraising, volunteering, spirit, other, and ask some questions to help us make plans as we move forward, and just say how can we improve, what are other ideas out there, things like that. So those were some of the buckets that I was thinking of including in there. Are there any other ones that people can think of, or specific questions or anything like that that we would want to include in this year-end survey? I'm not going to put anybody on the spot on it, but if you have any, let me know. It's something that I'll probably be putting together over the next week or so, or whoever wants to take it on, and we can get that out there. So it's something that, like I said, with everything that we've been doing and trying to keep transparent and see how things are going, gauging everything, I think we just thought it was something that we could do to help with the planning for next year. Communications. We are expecting a bill from the district for copies. No idea what it's going to be.
little
Well, they
afraid.
reloaded it by like 10,000.
Well, I think when they were doing the billing, they shut it down during that period of time and then opened it back up. So yeah, of course, when they were doing the billing and shut it down, we had somebody here Stacy was trying to make copies, and they locked her out of the system. So we're looking for that to come out there. I have no idea what to expect, and that they've never told us what it costs per copy or anything like that, or how much they're gonna charge us, so we'll see.
But even some of those big color copies, like that you get, like the pizza or something, like, I don't do anything with it, and it's not, you know what I mean, it just sits there, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. So, beyond that, that being in account, I've had some talks with, Joanna about, I've had some staff members say, oh, do you have this, or do you have this information, could you include it in this or that, or whatever, cause sometimes I don't check email every day, and then I forget about it, or, Facebook every day, and whatever. So we're trying to think of ways maybe to make things more universal. I set up a Google Drive to, that I update and keep all the information in, but people don't go to that. So maybe the time is to think about having an independent website for people that aren't on Facebook, and go from that if we wanted to do something like that, and maybe that would also help us get away from paper copies for things. We send out emails for everything, we post on, our social media sites and whatnot, but it might be something that helps us do that. There's two options when we look at this. We can do a free site, which, again, you run into the thing of, well, what's the crazy URL, and do you have ads for places that you don't like pop up, and what can you do with that? Or do you say, oh, let's do a paid site? And if you do a paid site, well, you can do things where you can sell tickets through your website without sending them to another site, and you have a dedicated URL. So if somebody's looking, they just say, bobcatboosters.com or whatever, and can go to it. The costs that vary for that, I mean, there's obviously free, and then there's costs that vary between $14 and $20 per month, depending on what we want to do, if we want to integrate our PayPal and different things like that. But those are things to consider. I would consider that maybe a summer project for the start of next year. But it's something that I wanted to bring up to the group and get a feeling for what people thought.
I think that's a good idea, because quite often when I am looking for a piece of information, I'm like, which Facebook site did I see it on? I mean, I know it's on the Penny Bobcat one, but
then you have to
and
scroll
I'm looking,
through,
and I'm like, wait,
yeah.
that was 2 weeks ago, I gotta figure out what that was.
Like
and
the I
one
Spy
place.
You gotta scroll for days to find it.
I Spy, yeah, I
Forgot
don't,
about it.
I haven't seen that.
Right, it'd be good to have everything all in one
Website,
place.
that would be good. And a lot of those paper copies don't even get home, unfortunately.
No, yeah.
Or they're just in a stack of every other announcement that came out that I know my son gives me a stack at the end of the week, and oh, these are all for you.
And if we get it set up before the beginning of school, then we can have something on a piece of paper that gets sent home with every family when they come to bring
Say,
their stuff
go
home.
here and keep
Well, like
looking
Power
here
School,
and
it's
for more
bookmark on my
information.
toolbar, so one of those things that gets, you go to it once, you check it out and you bookmark it, and then you can check it whenever you want.
So they'd be able to go there and get their spare or.
Everything. You could have everything on there, and you can do a banner, and you have your most popular things rotate and whatever. So there's a lot of options that you can do there, depending on which route you go. Do you go the free one, which is kind of here's our stuff and the story, or do we
I
do
think
that?
we already know
The
that
cost
we
isn't that
have
much.
Other
I
For
think
an
even if you
annual?
went to $20 a month,
It's going to be cheaper than our copier bill, I guarantee.
Yeah.
That will be able to reach a more wide
I mean, we can
net
make,
of people.
we can make one more basket for the auction and
Right.
cover that cost of that.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, heck, our Antioch pizza night.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
pretty much covered
See,
that
that
cost, so,
worked.
so yeah, there's a lot of options. Okay, so it sounds like everybody thinks this is a pretty good idea,
Yeah.
and, we'll take a look at that
Do we,
moving
I mean,
forward.
has anybody ever considered maybe going as an outsource for printing? Like, for example, Bill or Press in town, if we were to go as all the boosters as a whole? Cause the the only reason why I'm saying is because you can, whoever's in charge of the event can send the document electronically to them, tell them what color paper, how many copies, and then, you know what I mean, they get picked up and then just dispersed into the mailboxes instead of standing here. 'cause
Well,
I'm done.
and that's something else,
You know?
we found out through this. This was something that was brought up several times, but there was no definite answer. We can actually use the district's print service. as well, where we send them the stuff, they'll print it out, we tell them how many copies, they'll have it ready for us, and then we take it and distribute it and go from there. They actually prefer that, but for a long time, as I'm standing here making copies for everything, somebody's like, well, why don't you do this? I'm like, it was never given us an option. We were told just to use the copy code, so.
This just happened, what,
But,
last week or
but when they
something?
told us that this bill was coming, they actually said, please use the service now, and I'm like, okay, well, who do I contact? How do I contact this? And whatever, just email this person and tell them your code and whatever. So we've been given the green light and actually been told,
Awesome.
please do this
Okay.
now.
That would be much easier.
So, but yeah, we've kind of had that before and we've asked about it, but the answer was always, I don't know. I don't know if you can use it or not,
Yeah.
or
I was told
whatever.
no. I
Yeah, so
don't,
well, see, there you go.
so.
But so that stuff is coming out there. But if we go to this model, I think we get away from paper copies and only have a few throughout the year, and I think that makes it a lot easier. All right, so deeper dive topics.
We gotta hurry on the deeper dives.
All
Just
right.
saying.
Staff Appreciation Week, do you guys wanna give a quick update?
Plug your ears.
Okay,
what's that?
should I plug my ears too?
You plug your ears if you're staff. I feel like we're really rolling. We're not even, we're probably not gonna come close to spending $1,000. We have, we're doing a breakfast, that's, I think costing us maybe $12. We're doing, lotto tickets, a cookie walk, so like after school, we have containers and people, I think, I'm asking for 40 different cookies or treats. And they come, take what they want and go, and then, a taco thing, and then Joanna's doing one as well.
Mhm. How are you guys doing on volunteers?
I think we're done.
Monday morning.
We need Monday morning, someone to come
That's the only thing I
and help
can't do.
out.
Okay.
And
That's
then,
nice, too.
I mean, I'll be here,
Okay.
but if I could
You
have
have to,
someone
like, work.
else. Yeah, you know, I got some.
If you guys have specific ones, I would post it on the site, and, or if there's other ones, let me know, I can send out an email blast as well, to it, but let's make sure that we get those volunteers.
I think it's
with the
just-
Signed up.
cookies, with like the baked goods, do we need like?
Or buy
It could be
cookies.
bought, it
Yeah.
could be store
It's just a
bought,
different
baked,
variety, it doesn't have to be
whatever,
cookies,
just
I mean, you know.
candies, cake pop,
Treats.
which is
Treats.
whatever.
Treats, yeah.
Just
So
a little-
those for Thursday.
So,
what-
but
what
take a
about
look at your
Monday
signups,
morning?
let us know,
Thursday?
and then we'll see if we can get those
Okay.
filled out.
I know we definitely need Monday
I
morning.
can definitely make
Okay.
cookies. Oh, like,
Just
if
not
I were
chocolate
to bring
chips.
some, how many do you?
But we have like
A
15
dozen,
chocolate
chocolate
chips.
chips.
It's like,
Yeah.
Like,
no more
like,
chocolate
like,
chips.
I might change it to cake pops because everyone's been chocolate chips.
But like Rice Krispie treats, we
Right.
need 5 gluten-free options, cause I think there's some, so,
I already have like 2 containers of fluff at home, that'd be easy.
so, it's just, you know.
All right, well, so if you're looking to volunteer, those volunteer signups are out there, I know I've seen them on Facebook, and whatnot, but we can,
Oh, I'll
go
look
ahead and
on
push
these.
anything out
If
that
anybody wants
needs.
to come, and help hang this weekend thing, that I was trying to copy, throughout the school.
Okay, when are you doing that?
Sunday?
Sunday? Can we get into the building?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm happy to know.
That's right. That's right, okay.
I might have a way into.
You too, dude?
Put that out there and let us know.
Tell me they need your
So,
badge.
if there's a time or whatever,
I go to
we can ask people to do that, so. All right.
What?
Anything else on staff appreciation, or was that good?
Oh,
That's it, right?
yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Fifth grade picnic, Catherine?
So data set for the 30th of May. We have a current budget of $1,000. It's going to include a t-shirt commemorating the event. And we've received all the kids and teacher sizes. It's going to cost $550 for 110 t-shirts. We're getting pizza lunch from Domino's because that's the cheapest. We did have a dietary request, so we're going to honor that. I won't say any names or whatever, but we're going to take care of that. And then for some volunteer opportunities, last time I checked, we were doing pretty darn good. I asked for food, like chips, cookies, lots of other things, lemonade, water, obviously water. And then I think the only thing that maybe we need more of are volunteers to help set up and clean up. So I think that was the last thing that I had seen on that. And then we also need to have a backup plan in case of bad weather, and God knows we've had a lot of it lately. So we're open to suggestions. I had asked if we could have access to the gym the whole day, but I don't know that that's an option. So In the past, they said they had done things in individual classrooms, so we're kind of going to have to get creative on how to make it fun. But in the meantime, just pray for really good weather.
Will we have bus access that day?
Yeah,
Cause the VFW has that big old hall, and if you ask them, they're super good about working on prices, and it's a big space. So whatever cones or whatever you were gonna set up outside, you likely could set up in there, and then it would just take a bus or two.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, it would have to be totally last minute too, so I don't know if any place would just be like, here you go, use it, you know?
But if they'll know by now if there's somebody that's booking the room and be like, okay, here's $50 deposit to hold the room for me. If we don't come, we'll come get that 50 back.
Yeah, it's worth asking.
It's worth a shot.
Yeah.
We thought about talking to maybe Crossview Church. You know, they've got the big space they use for voting and whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe that'd be an option. One other thing that we were kind of talking about was, I wonder if like old St. Peter's gym, we could use that, because I don't think anybody uses that. You know, so I don't know if that would be an option that we could reach out to them and say, hey, in case something happens, is this even an option? But that's kind of what I think the idea was, let's think of some backup plans just in case that we could.
Yep.
Catherine, if you need any suggestions or input, I did last year's.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, thanks. So you can go to the next slide, Ray. So we had the kids vote for their favorite design, and this was the one they chose, and it was actually designed by our daughter and one of her friends. So so this is what they chose, and on the front you'll see cute, it has a nice little quote, and then all the kids and teachers' names on the back as well. So yeah, so that's it.
So, yeah. And it's the kind of teal from the new logo.
It's called
So it doesn't look
Tropical
like it
Blue.
right there. So, but yeah, that was fun. I think they had fun doing the voting.
Yeah, we had
everybody voted.
Yeah,
so
everybody voted, so it was
there was
pretty
3
awesome.
different designs they could choose from, and
Yep.
that's the one they picked.
So yeah, that's it for fifth grade picnic.
All right. Anything else in fifth grade picnic
No.
before I do this?
Good.
All right, we're gonna do this quickly. This is a lot of stuff that we've already covered, but we figured since this is our last meeting of the year, we should kind of recap the things that we've done this year. A lot of you have worked to do a lot of these different things, and so there's a lot of thanks to go around to us, and I'm not gonna do that for everything, but kind of just do a quick rundown of the things that we've done this year. We hosted our first event of the year was the Antioch Lanes bowling event. We had that. We've held the Pastry Parents event to capacity. That happened. We did the spring break movie night over spring break. Culver Scoopy night, we've taken that back over. Kindergarten registration, we worked through that to try to get more people in. And then we planned and held the family date night with the auctions and the raffles. So those are our events for this year. Fundraising. We've set up Facebook giving, so anybody can just go out there and use us and say, hey, for my birthday, I want to do a fundraiser for this, or we can do any kind of fundraiser that we want on Facebook. We're set up in GuideStar and achieved a bronze rating out there for charitable giving, which makes it a lot easier to do things like Facebook and different things out there. And Amazon Smile, we're set up with Amazon Smile to do purchases and get a portion back from. We should probably get something back in May or June for that. We've set up a PayPal account so we can process things. We did some of our auction baskets where we processed credit cards for that, so people could pay for that instead of having check or whatever. We designed and sold those static stickers, which is going to be ongoing. We did the 50-50 raffle at the music concert, which was wildly popular and successful, so that's something hopefully we'll continue next year. Did the Antioch Pizza Nights, had 2 of those. We set up the Script gift card fundraiser, which has been underutilized but is out there. And the Spirit Store, so we redid all the logos and come up with all kinds of new options and held our first sale. So those are a couple things there. For administrative, so we set up the calendar to try to coordinate all the Boosters Club's activities. We've arranged the group meeting with the superintendent and the Booster Club presidents to kind of set the stage and move on from there and make sure everybody's on the same page. We also have from that meeting, we have a email that will go out to all the Booster Club Gmail addresses, so that if there's information, hence like the stuff about the copies and whatnot, that information goes out to all the presidents from there, so between the district. So there's some good communication going on there. We created and initiated the draft, the waiver to allow food at the different events and facilities, so that was solved and done, which was great. We established the group here, held an election in our monthly meetings, which we've done every month. We haven't canceled one, so that's great. We've had some good attendance because you guys all show up. Consistently, we've sought feedback after each event for surveys. Spirit, we did the staff appreciation week. We did Valentine's Day, the 5th grade picnic we're doing, or the fun assembly that we're doing. Obviously, the new school logo and Spirit store falls in there. I think I mentioned Valentine's Day already. We did something for all the students and staff there. We created that Staff Spirit Award to kind of move things around. And then we designed and did the 5th grade t-shirt and the picnic as we on there, so I think I mentioned the picnic. So those are just some of the, oh, there's a couple more. Grants, we funded Battle of the Books, we funded Seesaw for all the 3rd grade users, and we worked with the district to get the unsafe playground equipment at Petty replaced. So hopefully that.
And summer school.
And summer school, yes, sorry, I forgot about summer school on there as well. Volunteering, so we're assisting with field day out there with volunteers. We've helped them get volunteers for Art and STEM night. That one maybe didn't go quite as well as we'd hoped, but I know that some of you guys volunteered and we had some people come out there. 5th grade picnic, we're actively seeking volunteers for that, and that's going well. And staff appreciation week going out there as well. So there's a lot of different groups and buckets that we're working on, but those are some of the highlights that we did this year. So thank you everyone for all of your efforts and all of that, and moving from there. So we're getting to the end of the meeting, so now is the time to do elections for next year's executive board. All positions are up for election. It's president, vice president, treasurer, and secretary. 2-year position term limit are in the bylaws, so if you were elected this year, that counts for 1 term, and you can do 1 more in that same position. We had online nominations, and that is who is on the ballots that we have on here. So people could self-nominate or someone else could nominate for you. We, unfortunately, because of this, we can't do voting through Facebook Live for this. So sorry guys on Facebook Live, you have to be physically present to vote. But before we do that, we also have a write-in at each one. Did anyone care to nominate someone for a position today or nominate themselves for a position that they want to be considered for a write-in vote? So, and to make clear, anybody that's listed on here that was nominated accepted the nomination. So it's not like somebody's going to be like, oh yeah, sorry, you were thrown under the bus for this one. So we've got pens here as well. So with that, the executive board for this year, in case you wanted to know about the term limit, our president was myself. We have vice presidents Melissa Moore, Catherine Swanson, secretary Caitlin Snuffer, and treasurer Melissa Waters. And so we'll get to the results here in a minute. But the one person that some of you might not know that is here tonight that's on the ballot is Christina Harris. So she's on the ballot as well. So that's pretty much it. Everybody got time?
So we can have more than 1 vice president too as well, right?
We can have more than 1 vice president if someone wants to write in. This is just the people that nominated themselves or someone else was nominated. So. And at this point, I'd like to ask for a volunteer to go through and tally the votes. Someone that's not on the ballot.
Do it. Do it.
You're gonna post it, right?
Hmm?
You'll post it later.
Yeah, we'll post it.
Yep.
We'll post it.
I have to go, I'm sorry.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, see you guys later.
Bye.
So while that's happening, we'll get Spirit.
Well, Emily really wants to go get it.
Oh, do you want to take it back? Is that like a Mission Impossible thing going
myself going to get it. That's
And then
what
we
got
leave it there,
Right.
where it was.
This is mine.
I did not say any of those things, just so you know.
Oh, you wanna hear what was actually said after she found out she didn't win it the second time?
Facebook Live.
Yeah, we are.
We can pause it, can't we?
I wanna hear what you got to
No.
How dare her be. I'm joking.
So how many, like, of one thing do you guys need for the teacher appreciation?
It's weird, I see Mrs. Hope engraved her name on the plaque. No, I'm kidding.
I'll take whatever.
Yeah,
Thank you very much for
yeah,
your
right.
help.
I said I would do 2 dozen chocolate chip cookies. I'll probably do 2 dozen cake pops instead,
And if anybody wanted to,
just because I feel like there's.
Perfect.
I
I got 'em here.
You can take my name
Well,
off the people
like
that said they
one
want one.
basket
Did you get one?
there's
I just bought it
like
on
60
Saturday.
mini,
Okay, you got it.
like bite size.
I gotta reach out to the
It's
people
just
that
a variety of things for.
said that they wanted
Just
one
for the
and
staff, right?
haven't sent it in
Yeah.
yet,
So I
so.
don't, like, one batch would probably be enough.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I mean, let's see, we're into everything, you know.
And some of them will, and
I
I
don't
want
know.
that
Probably
to be
like
an option if they
The
want
first
to.
time someone made them, I ate like 20 of them, and
Yeah.
like 5, they're really
So
good.
you can make 90 of them.
Okay, I'm okay with that. It doesn't, yeah, I mean, they don't take that long to make.
Right.
It's filling them that takes the longest.
I just had a student bring in a thing, they're raising money for one of their teams outside school, and mom is giving like dozens of cookies for like $5. I'm like, shoot, here you go, I'm gonna buy these 5 dozen cookies, bring them.
Kills 2 birds with one stone.
And I know she's a really good baker, and she's a clean house source now.
Yeah, scary.
I'd say it's only
Right.
inside.
Yeah. Do I need to say it? Do I write it?
I don't know. It's up to you.
Do we have, is it all
Yeah,
tallied?
you can just write it and then
So your
Okay.
shots are in?
pass it over.
Yeah, that's fine. Or
Oh, wait, hang on.
do you have a notary to kinda?
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
kidding.
Amy,
I
this way. Wait a minute. It's been a long day.
Okay. All right, so if I read this correctly, we have, for president, the winner is myself. Vice president, we have Catherine, and there was also a vote for Christina Harris. So I don't know if that's something you're interested in. And then for treasurer, Melissa Waters, and secretary, Caitlin Snuff. So, congratulations. Is that something you're interested in? Do you want to serve as a vice president as well?
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Okay. So, well, consider it, let us know. The way that we kind of set this up was that for the vice presidents, you know, there's the traditional thing, but we also talked about having an area that maybe that you would specialize in. You know, and then you're responsible for this, that, or
That hasn't
whatever,
been the
so.
case for me though. I'm doing everything.
No, I think that was the way we talked
No,
about it.
I'm helping him because holy moly.
That's the way we talked about it, so we can do it that way.
Was there originally 2 vice presidents for you
Yeah.
guys?
Yeah.
There was.
It went down to 1?
It went down to
But
one.
then I got
Okay.
hired as an employee.
Yeah.
Oh, so you were the
So-
second one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
but it doesn't mean an employee cannot be on our executive
No,
board though,
right,
so,
it's just,
to be
yeah,
clear,
it's
but that's it. So, I guess there's not a lot of transition going on here, so we don't really have to worry about that. So we'll go into the next steps, cause it's quick, we kinda talked about this, we gotta wrap up this year, transition any new board members. If, you know, Christina wants to join us on the board, that's great. Schedule, for 2019 and 2020 meetings, is this format working for everyone? Where we're doing, I mean, I've had a lot of people come back to me and say they love the Facebook Live,
I do like that.
for times that they can't make it out there, but is this day and time work well for everybody? Because if that's the case, we can put in the request and start our schedule for next year and get them locked in, which would be a goal. So,
Maybe we can put that in the end of year survey.
well, yes, we will put that in the end of year survey
Yeah.
and go from there. We'll start to need to look at the 2019 and 2020 budget as we've gotten our evaluation and everything going on there. And then and I'd like to have that for our first meeting that we have for the next season. And then events and programs. I'd like to really work over the summer or whatever it is to say, hey, this is what we're gonna do, and let's lay out a calendar, and then we've got a calendar of the things that we're gonna do and just have it out there, and go from there. We talked about the website a little bit, which I think is a good idea. That's something we'll do there as well. So with that being said, our next meeting, maybe August? Or do we wanna, or do we wanna do something before then? Do we wanna have meetings over the summer? We can.
I feel like we need to do like a kickoff for like the
Yeah, I think
Okay.
before
since we're gonna have
school
a new,
starts,
but,
we
like,
need to get together.
Okay,
Yeah.
so people probably want a break though, nothing in June, and then maybe something in July. And we can always do Facebook Live meetings and things like that as well too. Or we can look at doing one at the public library. It doesn't have to be here at the school. You know, depending on who wants to come, we can do things like that.
We have a pool, you can come over and swim.
Yeah.
Alright, I got your address.
Or, I mean, or you
Yeah.
can consider,
Yeah, that can be Facebook Live.
just doing
Emily,
like a
you
board
can come
meeting
back.
in the summer and not having to, have, just parent regular,
Yeah.
you guys can kind of get, your heads.
So there's a lot of options there. So if people say that they want, obviously we can look at having one for July. Whoever can come, and we'll do that. But we'll look at that and talk about starting up in July then instead of August and go from there. So that's that. Obviously our contact stuff hasn't changed, so we can skip through that and through the rest. So thank you everyone for coming. I like to see new people here. So, and